All right, this is how we are going to automate our tests with GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions is a platform that allows us to automate things like building our project, running tests, and deploying our project. So what we're going to do is we are going to automate running our test. So we already have pytest set up. So if we run pytest, it will run. We just have one test, but it runs and it passes. Cool. But we have to manually do this, and we can set up GitHub Actions to run pytest for us on a push or a pull request. So here's how to create the workflow to run pytest. So the first thing we will do, let's clear the screen, is we need to make the workflow directory. So, and also a workflow is a automated process that will run when a certain event occurs. So it'll just be our pytest. So we're going to want to be in the project's root, which we are, and we will make a new directory, and it's going to be .github. This is where our workflows go. And we want to change directory into GitHub, like that. And it's an empty directory, nothing's in it. So we're going to make a new directory called workflows. And you may already have this. I didn't, but if you already have this, great. Just navigate into the workflow directory. But if not, you will make it like this. And this is also a empty directory. Oops, we gotta navigate to workflows. And this is also an empty directory, as we can see. So we'll clear the screen. And the next step will be, we will create the pytest file. So the workflows use YAML. YAML is a markup language that is commonly used in like configuration files, and I think YAML stands for YAML ain't markup language, so I guess it's not a markup language, but yeah, it's just used for configuring things. So we will create a file called pytest.yaml. There we are. So now we'll create the pytest workflow. So we're going to create this YAML file, push it to GitHub, and then it'll run our pytest on any push we do. Or if somebody submits a pull request, it'll run pytest, and hopefully there won't be any errors, but it'll show you if there's any errors. Pretty handy. So the first thing we will do is name our workflow. This is optional, but we'll name ours pytest. The next thing we'll do is specify the trigger. So we'll do on push and pull request. So what this means is this workflow will run anytime somebody pushes code and anytime there's a pull request. And then we'll do jobs test, just the name of our job, and we need to create an environment that'll run our test. So we want to do runs on Ubuntu. And basically what this does is it's going to run the latest version of Ubuntu, and it's going to run our pytest. We need to set up an environment so we can actually, install Python and run pytest. Steps. So these will be the steps of our workflow, and we're going to do uses, actions, checkout, version 4, and what this is it checks out our repository into the environment. So into this Ubuntu environment we just created, it'll check out all our repository's code, so we can actually run the pytest on it. The next thing you want to do is set up the Python, or download Python into our environment. Name. So we're going to name this set up Python, and then actions set up, and this will just say okay, use Python version 5. And then we can specify Python version we want, and you can do whatever is best for you, but we'll do 3.10. Great. And then now we have to install our project's dependencies so we can run our pytest. So we can name this install dependencies, and then we're going to do run. And what run is you can just run command line commands. So we can do the straight bar, I forgot what that's called, to run. So we can do multiple lines of commands. So I'm going to copy and paste this, but I'll put this in the description like always. And remember this, just it installs pip into our environment. So we install Python up here, and then we install pip. We install our requirements.txt, so our project's dependencies. We install pytest, and then we use our setup.py to get everything going. Cool. So we have our dependencies set up. So the last step is we have to actually run pytest. So we can name this run py. I cannot spell. Run pytest, and we can just do run. Run this, and this will just run pytest. And this is it. Hopefully that all made sense, and we'll save this file, and then git status, so we can go back to the project's root just to get a clearer picture. So I'm going to clear the screen. So if we do git status, we'll see that this isn't tracked, and we want to track this. So we'll do git. This is we created that GitHub directory. So git add.github, and then we'll do git status again, and we see, oh, new file. We just created this pytest file. So we'll copy this, git add that. I guess it's already added. Git status. Cool. So changes to be committed. This file right here. Actually, I don't think we need to add it, but we can do git commit message pytest GitHub action. So our commit message, then we'll git push, and on push, this should set up this GitHub action to work on push. So we're going to push this. It'll take a moment, and then GitHub's going to run this workflow and give us the results, and hopefully it'll pass. So git push. Looks like it's pushing, and then we will navigate to our GitHub. Give me 1 second. So here we are. So we just pushed pytest GitHub action right here. This is what we added. It says pending. So it's running this. So we can actually click on details. And this is our new workflow, and it just ran in green check mark, which means everything went all good. And we can see, so setting it up right here. This is checking out our GitHub repository. We can see right here, syncing repo. And this is setting up Python. So it's just installing Python right here. And this is when we install our Python, our project's dependencies. You can scroll through it and see it all running. And this is actually when pytest ran. So we can click this and see the results. So we just have one test so far, but it says one test passed. Great, so it looks like it worked. And obviously when you add more tests, it'll automatically run those too. So it can run more than one. And then yeah, it looks like it's completed, and it worked great.